In today's video, we are going to see if we can beat Schedule 1 without leaving the RV. That means no story progression, no Albert Hoover. Let's see what we can do. Start off today gambling in the casino, which, as I'm sure you can imagine, is a pretty normal hobby of mine. Nice. Next, we get caught pickpocketing Houdini, and then we have to run for our lives whilst blasting this poor innocent man behind us. Once we escape the cops, well, I put as much as I could in the bank. Obviously there's a weekly deposit limit, but we put in what we could and went to buy a property.
Yeah.
As all good things must do, we had to start small with the laundromat. I tried to buy a car, but it was shut. We went to bed on the first night being no much better than before. We did manage to level up though, which was one step closer to getting to where we needed to be. In the morning, we decided to go back and try by car. This time, it was actually open. Did some more laundering. And then we proceeded to wind Mick up as much as possible, trying to sell a cheap skateboard for way more than it was actually worth. As you could probably guess, he was not too happy about this. So we shot him and then ran from the cops for a very long time. I then decided it was time for some high stake blackjack, my favourite game in Schedule 1. Now, I've never been very good at blackjack, even considering it is one of my favourite games in Schedule 1. However, it's a good way to pass the time. More importantly, spend a bit more of this money that I probably immorally gained. Coming out with more money than I actually started with, I decided to play the game that I lose the most. Ride the bus. The game where luck is everything. Speaking of luck, I lost this an awful lot of times. More than I care to count. As all good men would do, I decided to smash the table up. Or try to at least. As for everything, fail at doing so. On a much more positive note, I decided to get a haircut.
I don't think you have any idea how fast I really am. I'm fast as fuck, boy.
After absolutely harassing a poor policeman, I decided it was time for bed. We weren't leveling up quick enough, so we needed to find a way to get more XP. The police were the best way of doing so. Now, you do not understand how long that took for that wanted to clear. It took forever, and I only got 60 XP a time. If I wanted to level up enough, I would be here for a long time. The second time I tried this, John Hardin managed to shoot me through the car. Still not sure how he managed that. He must have just seen my big honker sticking out the side of the car. Like the brave man I am, I decided to leg it and do some laundering again. And that was another exhausting day. Time to go to bed. The good thing is, by doing the police method, we managed to get 800 XP, which put us right up into the hoodlum category. Closer to where we needed to be. Now that we've reached Hoodlum 2, we've unlocked Westville, which means we've got access to a new supplier. To get there, we need to give out some free samples and make some real friends. I annoyed the police some more, and then decided to go to the casino to pass some time. After a lot of laundering and a lot of cheap samples later, we were there. We received a message. Now that we had Shirley Watts unlocked, we could order some low quality pseudo. This means we can start producing methamphetamines, products that we can sell. That brought us to the end of our third day, achieving a lot more than in the first few days. Next, we decided to go and collect the dead drop. Once we'd done that, I realised something. We were going to need more XP. So, we did a bit more annoying of the cops. Then, I got bored of that quite quickly and I decided to go back to the casino. Won a jackpot on every single slot, nice and lucky, and then decided to leave my winnings for Shirley. What a good friend I am. After we'd annoyed the cops enough to get to Hoodlum 5, I went and knocked on the door, where they said I had to wait till 6 PM. So wait till 6 PM is what we did. If you've been watching the channel for a while, then you know I am too impatient. I decided to go cause a ruckus, win plenty of free spins on the slots, skate around town like an absolute hooligan whilst running away from the cops, and then sell some bud to some people who probably absolutely do not deserve it. Once I'd finished with my mishaps, it was 6 PM and we could now enter the warehouse. When I was in there, I went to speak to Oscar, the man who was going to give us the supplies we needed to start producing. After buying the supplies and having an absolute nightmare with inventory space, I did some more laundering. An absolute mare trying to arrange my RV, so I decided to cut my losses and go to sleep. New day, new me. I realised I could just remove the pots that we had because we weren't growing anything at the minute. Then decided to pawn these items off at a much more reasonable price, as to not have to shoot my old pal again, and then return back to the RV, where it was time to get cooking. Once we got back to the RV, after a little bit of organisation, it was time to start work by loading the phosphorus, the acid and the low-level pseudo into the chemistry station. Cook was on. For those who don't know, the process is quite simple. Start with your low-level pseudo, pour in your acid, pour in your phosphorus, give it a stir, get that nicely up to 100%. Get that then into your boiling flask, super easy. Then we're going to get it over that Bunsen burner. Get it up to the right temperature and we are ready to go. That will take about 8 hours to complete, so in that time, it's time for some laundering. Now that we'd laundered enough, it was time to buy a new business. So we bought the post office, tried to pickpocket this man, and then we became proud owners of our very own post office. We were now postmen. With this post office's new laundering capabilities, we were able to launder even more money. That's more money into the bank. We then decided it was time to skate home, but we went home to see that the chemistry station still was not finished. Like I've said, I'm impatient. I went and pickpocketed a cop. I got another cartridge and a revolver, so I decided to try and pawn this off to Mick, not knowing about the time. So instead, I decided to pick this man the whole $9 he had. I then went back to the warehouse and decided it was time to buy a mixing station. However, we had not unlocked the mixing station Mark II yet, so it had to be a Mark I. I left my revolver in the post office for safekeeping. I then got back to the RV and decided to start another cook. I put the product of my first cook into the lab oven, and it was time to get business rolling. It was then time to end another day. In the morning, our cook will be complete. As I thought the cook was done, so I collected my product and then realised I could not fit the mixing station in the RV. After messing around and really hoping to fit the mixing station in, I gave up. Decided to package my newly made product instead. Once that was done, I went outside and opened my phone. It was time to find some contacts. We were going to give out freebies. After finding my contacts, I went out to give out freebies. We went off with a roaring start with Dean Webster, followed up by Peter File, 2 people of which were quite satisfied with our product. As you will see, this did not last for long. After that tragic loss, I decided to buy some new clothes, followed by some more laundering, a lot of laundering, and then we went back to do another cook. I'm not sure why I kept this content in, it's the same process every time. You may skip this if you like. Halfway through the cook, I realised the week had begun again, which meant a new weekly deposit limit, so I went back to deposit the maximum amount, 10,000. Once we got back from depositing our money, I realised the cook had finished, so I packaged it up, saw that the chemistry station had another 6 hours to go, so decided it was time for bed. In the morning, I recorded yet another, yes, another cook, and then decided to go out and give some more free samples, this time with a bit more joy. Okay, so 50% of the people is not the best, but it's better than we had the day before. That was 3 more potential customers who will be interested in buying our product. Now, you might be thinking, but money's not a problem. We're not going for money. We want to build that rep and we want to get that business going. Speaking of money not being a problem, we decided to try and pawn off a revolver for $5, which was apparently outside of Mick's available budget. However, we did go back and package up our newest cook. More product on the market. After finishing a few successful days again, I didn't really know what to do. I was in the RV and I was waiting for a cook to finish. As you can see, I pondered my time well. Once the cook was done, we got it in the lab oven, we got it in the chem station, and then we did some more laundering, my favourite task of all. Once that money was laundered, we had enough to buy the car wash. That meant we could get a total of £12,000 a day into our bank accounts. When we got back, the cook was done. We packaged it up, and that was the end of the last successful day.